Hello everyone, in take 2 of episode 7 of the Rarpack. I actually started just a few seconds ago and it went dark and I got blown up by a creeper. Luckily it did not destroy any of our machines, so that is at least safe. And I also was able to recollect all of the pieces that we need to go ahead and build our plate bending machine, which is what this episode was going to be about. I also wanted to show everyone that I've moved in most of the stuff. All of our resources have been moved in. There's still a couple odds and ends that I need to bring out of there, as well as all of our bronze machines have not been moved in yet. I wanted to find a different place for those, and eventually I'm going to get rid of all of them because they are very outdated in comparison to our electrical machines. But for the time being, we may still need a couple of them, so we'll get into that later. But I wanted to show you that all the lights are almost in. I actually have all the resources ready to finish building all of our lights so we can get those done, and I'll be doing that. And we're also going to go ahead and build the plate bending machine so that I can show you guys what that looks like, and also get into a couple of other things. I believe the next thing that I wanted to do is make the wire mill, which is fairly inexpensive. We need a little bit more steel. And then just a couple of circuits and some brass, which I already have created. But the plate bending machine is going to make the brass plates much more inexpensive, so we're going to jump right into doing that. I also wanted to wait to build everything so that I can kind of show off the assembly machine in action. In older versions of GregTech, I believe you could put things in opposite orders and it didn't make a difference. Oh, actually this one seems like it does still work. There are a few that seem like they need to be placed in the right order to work in the assembly machine, but that may have been a different oversight on my part. But for now, we have this running. The assembly machine is going to take the iron plate and the 2 electrum plates that I put in and make a few pieces of circuit board, and then we're going to put these copper cables in there with the circuit boards, and those are going to turn into our circuits. So we only need 3 copper cables instead of 6, and with the wire mill we'll be able to very efficiently change 1 copper ingot into 3 copper plate or 3 copper wire. So we can go ahead and throw those guys in there, and you see the pieces disappear before it starts. With all GregTech machines, they consume the item and then start applying power to it. This is especially important to note when you're using things like the industrial blast furnace or the industrial electrolyzer or the industrial centrifuge, because those require a constant power supply, and if you don't have enough, the pieces get lost in there. So you have to be very careful to make sure that you have enough power going into those machines. While we're waiting for those to build, since we have to wait for 2 of them, I'm going to go ahead and make a couple more of these guys. That way we can finish up all of our lights. That's actually enough, so that's good. So these white Lumar, I think you can look at it. No, hang on. There we go. The white Lumar is it's shapeless crafting. All you need is glowstone dust and some white dye to make white Lumar. Obviously, if you have 2 dye of a different color, it has to be the same dye, but you can make any color Lumar that you want, and then the Lumar will light up all of the blocks with putting them into the same setup that I showed you there. Let's go ahead and get rid of those. Oops. So the redstone torch makes them inverted, which means that they are constantly on, and a redstone signal will turn them off. If you have just redstone in the bottom, it will make a regular white lamp, and those will require a redstone signal in order to light. So I need 10 more to finish up. These circuits are made. The other thing that we need, I was talking before about how we can cut down how much steel we need from 8 steel plates to just 6 steel plates. Normally you need to take 8 steel plates, wrap them around a wrench like so, like we've done in the past. The way that this is set up, we can use machine parts to use only 6 instead. But to make machine parts, you need a circuit and you need 2 iron plates. So that's why I have an extra circuit here. And I believe I have enough circuits left in here. Yeah, I need 2 for this. We'll need 6 stone for each compressor, and then we're going to need these 12 steel plates to make the 2 compressor pieces. So let me go ahead and pop this in here. And in hindsight, I just realized that baby zombies might actually be able to make it through these little walls that I have here. I hope that they can't and that he'll just burn up in the atmosphere at some point and not have to worry about him anymore. But I do hear him out there, so we will have to take care of that eventually. But for now, let's go ahead, we'll grab some dirt, and we'll go over here and we'll finish putting these lights up. These ones at the top are kind of more for show at this point than anything else. They don't need to be here to keep mobs from spawning, but when we make the second level, the scaffolding level of this first floor, they'll be very helpful in making sure that mobs don't spawn on the upper levels, which is a big issue in general. Lighting something of this size, you have to have lots of things up, and making these lights that I have right now, these lamps, is much more expensive than just going ahead and making torches or something. But it looks a lot cooler. It looks a lot more professional, and kind of gives it the feel that we're not just half-heartedly building this thing. I'm actually taking some time to make sure that everything's going according to plan. Also, I know that a lot of people probably go into creative mode to build large buildings like this, but I like the feeling of knowing that I worked for everything, not just the actual building process, but I worked for all of the materials too. So I know that that's going to take a lot longer to do it than if I were to just do a let's build of sorts in creative mode to build everything. But I like doing it this way and kind of just doing some things off camera. That way you can see some progress, but I'm not doing everything so quickly that you come back and everything is completely different and you have no idea how I went about it. I would like to think that in general it's not difficult to follow, but you'll also notice over here I have copper crops and glowstone crops. The glowstone crops were so I could more or less continuously make my white lamps, because I need a lot of glowstone and I was not going to make another trip into the nether to hopefully maybe not get all the resources that I needed. So I went ahead and did it this way. I've just been using skeletons and turning the bones into bone meal in the pulverizer. Each bone gives you 6 bone meal in there, but I have also run out of bones. So the next floor is probably going to be a different color, and I kind of like the idea of making each floor a different color. That way when you're approaching the tower, each floor from the outside, you can see all these lamps, and it'll make it look a little bit more colorful instead of, right now we have kind of all black and white in here. I think some color will be nice. So we'll get into stuff like that. I might make the next floor either blue, purple, or gray, because I went out, oh, and actually I have red too. I went out and found some stained trees, and these are also very easy and very renewable forms of dye, because you can use them everywhere you can use dye. These are from Project Red. So these are very cool things to have. I'm really glad that I found blue stained saplings, because it means I don't need to use lapis lazuli for stuff. But I'd also like to see if I can go out and find green ones, so I don't have to worry about finding well, I don't know if they actually make green or not, but I don't want to have to use cacti. Cactus, I can use them, but at the same time, I'd rather have something a little bit more rapidly growing and more readily available. So we'll look into that. But I think there are some deserts around here somewhere that I can find the cactus from if we need to. These guys should be done. No, my goodness. Let's just pop a couple in there. Okay, there we go. So these are random machine parts. And basically one of these, coupled with 6 steel plates, will make us our machine hulls. Now they don't use a whole lot of power to make the machine hulls, but you have to remember that you also need to make a circuit and 2 iron plates in order to make these for the steel plates. So it is still more efficient, but it also uses power. So it's kind of a trade-off, if you will. I also have all of our other pieces in here. This is set up right now to be what we need for the conveyor module, so I'm going to go ahead and make that. The conveyor module is just glass, iron plates, an RE battery for power, and then 2 circuits. So that's how the conveyor module is built. The conveyor module will go here, and then we'll have a compressor on either side, and we will be set to go. So let's go ahead and grab these guys out of here. And that's still going just fine. Oops, we don't need this. Grab all of these. And good to go. I believe it's set up like this. Oop. Maybe not. Down. There we go. I always forget which way goes where with those. Okay, so we have our 2 circuits, we have the conveyor module and 4 pistons, and boom, plate bending machine. Okay, so like I said, the plate bending machine is very cool because it can make plates from 1 ingot out of any material, including steel. That's very useful, and the other thing the plate bending machine can do is make cells from tin plates. And I'm really lucky to have this, because now that we can make our tin plates, we can make a endless energy supply using the geothermal cell. So this guy right here needs 2 empty cells, the generator, which we already have, and then 2 iron item casings. Very easy to make, and we also already have, this does use a lot of power though, we also already have a crucible. I'm going to go ahead and build a second one, I think, so that we have plenty of extra in here, but we do have everything that we need in order to make our geothermal cell. Now, I did say that at some point I was going to explain what this tower was going to eventually look like as far as our power supplies go. So I have our first floor here that we're in set up to be the charging station. Now, underneath that is going to be a place for different kinds of power generations. The basement floor 1 is going to be fossil fuels, so directly below us will be fossil fuels. Below that is going to be the geothermal level, which we're going to have lava gens and crucibles going into lava tanks. That way we have a constant supply of lava and a constant supply of power. Below that is going to be nuclear fission materials prep. So that's going to be where we have some macerators, some compressors, and some other pieces of machines going to refine uranium into the cells that we need for uranium power from nuclear reactors. Below that is going to be nuclear fusion prep. Now that's going to be something that happens very late, but will also be very fun to do. That's going to be all the machines that we have to set up to ascertain our fusion resources, which I'm going to be using for the first reactor anyway. I will be using a deuterium and helium-3 setup. Now that requires endstone dust to make helium, and then lots of water and lots of centrifuges and electrolyzers to make deuterium. So we're going to eventually get into that, but that will be the 4th basement floor. The 5th basement floor is going to be the nuclear fission 4-core reactor. We're going to have 4 cores in each corner of the base on that floor. It's going to be extra tall, and we're going to be having a double-lined reinforced stone column to protect each of those. That way, if one of them do blow up, it's not going to be the end of the world. And then the very bottom level, we're going to have our nuclear fusion reactor, which is going to be the large fusion collider that we're going to make. Above that, up here, is going to be a biofuel level. We're going to be building a lot of different things, mostly with forestry up there, because it uses things like seed oil and honey to actually power machines. And then there's also some things that we can use like methane in GregTech. I have 2 more floors up there above that I don't actually have a power setup for yet, but I'm leaving them open that way in case we add any more mods. There are still places to put new generators. The 5th floor will be lined with ultimate solar panels, and then above those will be a bunch of windmills attached on very long fiber optic lines. So that's the overall plan. This is going to go almost to bedrock with how deep I have to make each level, and it's also going to go roughly 50 to 60 feet into the air on top of this level, so it'll be a very, very large tower and something that you'll be able to see from very, very far away, which is kind of the point. But that's going to be the major plan for what we go into with this. So we'll end up getting into the basement level here, basement level 1 eventually. Once I have everything else moved in and I have a couple more machines running, so if they're constantly doing stuff, I'll get that started. And then I'm going to go ahead and try to go down both levels. That way I can get this crucible set up. Because once the crucible is set up and we have some geothermal generators going, we won't have to worry about power for a while, because most of the machines that we run will not be very power hungry. There are some that are very power hungry, like the industrial grinder, the industrial electrolyzer, the blast furnace, but things like that we're not going to jump into right away. I will eventually get a blast furnace, but it's not it's not a very important thing right off the bat. We need it to start making solar panels because we need to make silicon plates inside it, or silicon ingots, I guess. But we'll get into that at a later time. But for now, I wanted to show you that the plate bending machine works, and also if you put 2 tin plates in here, it'll take them both and turn it into a cell. You'll also notice that there's a circuit area here. I'll get into that next time because I need to build a circuit and also a couple of tools. But you can make an integrated circuit that controls how many ingots are used. So that if you put a stack of tin plates in here, it actually makes tin item casings instead of making empty cells. Or if you want it to make tin empty cells, you set it to 2. It has a configuration level that can go anywhere from 1 to 9. 1 meaning that it will only use 1 item, and 9 meaning that it will use 9 items. When it uses 9 items, it will make a dense plate, which you don't always want, and then you have to revert and then send them back through again. But if you put in the right number that you need, one each at a time, like if I put in 2 tin plates, I will get 1 cell back. If I put in 1 and then try to put another one in, it will just start making item casings. So I have to be careful to put the right number of cells in. But you can see that we do have this ready. I'm going to, for the time being, just use a manual way to put our stuff in here. And get the geothermal generator running because I don't want to use the coal anymore. I already have to use it for the pulverizer and stuff, so I want to try to jump straight into using lava power to take care of these things. The other thing that we're going to do is I will eventually make a battery box, which is the first tier energy storage device, and we'll get into that probably next time. That way we have a way to store all of our extra power, and I can actually throw a bunch of lava into what will be our geothermal generator that'll sit right here. I'll also, I played around a little bit with making scaffolding along the mid-level here, but I don't really know what I want to do exactly yet. So I'm going to play around with that a little bit. I'll jump into that later. It would appear that we have some zombies on the roof because they're not down here. But yeah, those will be our plans for next time. But I wanted to show you that the plate bending machine is up and running and works. And this actually makes a steel plate from 1 steel ingot. So that cuts down the amount of steel we need from 12 steel ingots for every machine hull to 6. And originally we needed 24. So to go from, or not 24, 16. To go from 16 to 6 is absolutely phenomenal. And that means that we are in great shape to continue on in a very efficient manner to building more advanced machines. So that's what we'll be doing next time, and like I said, we'll work on power generation, power storage, and possibly some scaffolding in the next episode. I'll probably try to get into an Agrarian Skies episode here at some point. That way I don't completely disregard that, but I will eventually, once I get it to a point that, you know, I feel like I've completed enough quests to leave it alone for a little while, I'll kind of jump into doing nothing but this Rarpack GregTech combo thing for a little while, because honestly I do really love doing these things with GregTech. So despite the fact that it's a little bit complicated and a little bit difficult, I love actually doing it. So we'll hop into that next time, and I'll start getting some automation down as well. So I'll get to show you some of those cool things as well. But that's the plan. Thanks everyone for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.